Tonight, we are going to dive deep into one of the most essential skills in all of hospitality finance, the night audit. It's the process that makes sure a hotel's financial day closes with total accuracy, really setting the stage for a smooth start the next day.
Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here to explore the inner workings of modern hotel operations with me. And I want to give a special welcome to all the students from Europe Hotel School joining us. It's truly a pleasure to be a part of your educational journey. My goal here is simple: to give you practical, real-world knowledge. These aren't just theories. These are skills that are absolutely vital in today's hotels. So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the why, the purpose of the audit. Then we'll break down the two key ledgers. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of auditing both in-house and billed accounts, look at the final control check, and we'll wrap up by talking about why this all matters so much. All right, first things first, what is the night audit really all about? I want you to think of it as the financial heartbeat of the entire hotel. It's that crucial. You know, at its core, the main goal is to balance the books. Every single charge, every payment, every transaction from the whole day has to be accounted for. It's all about closing out the day's business cleanly, so when morning comes, the hotel starts from a place of perfect financial accuracy. Now, to get this balancing act right, an auditor primarily works with two kinds of accounts: the guest ledger and the city ledger. And trust me, understanding the difference between these two is absolutely fundamental. The way to think about it is that hotel finance is kind of split into two different worlds. In one corner, you have the guest ledger. That's all about the here and now, the guests who are physically staying with you. And in the other corner, you have the city ledger, which handles all the accounts that get settled later on, well after the guest is checked out. So the guest ledger, think of it as the live running tab for every single guest under your roof. It's tracking their room and tax, that bottle of water from the minibar, their dinner at the restaurant, plus any payments they've made. It's a living, breathing record that's constantly being updated. The city ledger, on the other hand, is basically the hotel's accounts receivable department. This is where you keep track of all the money that's owed to the hotel after a guest has already left. This is most common with companies that have direct billing set up. You could almost call it the hotel's official IOU tracker. Okay, so we know what these ledgers are, but how does an auditor actually make sure they're correct? Let's start with the most immediate task: auditing the in-house guests by balancing that guest ledger. The whole process really boils down to three core steps. First, you verify that every single charge has been posted correctly. Second, you have to scan for anything that looks out of place, any irregularities. And finally, you balance that grand total against the day's revenue reports from each department to make sure it all adds up. That first step, verification, is where the real detective work happens. Did the correct room rate post for every single guest? Are all the restaurant charges on the right accounts? For example, if you see a bar charge posted at 2 a.m., but you know the bar closed at midnight, well, that's a huge red flag. The auditor then has to dig in, cross-check with the department, and figure out what happened. And this brings us to looking for those irregularities. As an auditor is scanning the ledger, they might see something that just doesn't feel right. For instance, what do you think it means if a guest's account has a negative balance? How could that even happen? Well, when you see that, alarm bells should go off. A negative balance often means a payment was posted to the wrong room. So now you have one guest with a credit they don't deserve and another guest with a bill that's still outstanding. Or maybe you see a really high total. It could be a double posted charge that's going to make for a very unhappy guest at checkout. These are precisely the kinds of things the audit is designed to catch. Okay, so once the guest ledger is balanced and everything looks good, the auditor's focus shifts. Now it's time to reconcile the city ledger, home to all those billed accounts. This is such a critical moment in the process. When a corporate guest checks out, their entire balance is moved from their folio in the guest ledger over to the company's account in the city ledger. The auditor's job is to make sure that transfer is seamless, it's authorized, and it's perfectly accurate down to the last cent. And you know, the city ledger isn't just for big corporate clients. It's also where you'll find things like no-show fees for reservations that never checked in, or advance deposits for future bookings, even charges for hotel employees. It's really the central hub for all the money that's owed to the hotel. So, we've balanced both ledgers individually. Now we come to the grand finale, the final verification step that ties everything together. This is the control account check. The control account is really a master summary. Think of it as the grand total on a giant receipt for the entire hotel. Its balance has to be the exact sum of all the accounts in both the guest and the city ledgers. If it matches, you're in business. If it doesn't, the hunt for the error begins. This right here, this is the moment of truth. The formula couldn't be simpler, but it's everything. The total of all in-house guest balances plus the total of all city ledger balances must equal that control account total. There is zero room for error. If it doesn't balance, the auditor keeps digging until that discrepancy is found and fixed. So after all that detail, let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. Why does mastering this process matter so much? It really goes way beyond just crunching numbers.
You see, proper balancing is the bedrock of a hotel's financial integrity. It guarantees the business day closes without any loose ends. It ensures your guests get accurate bills, which is just fundamental to their satisfaction. It means your corporate partners are charged correctly, which builds trust and maintains those crucial relationships. At the end of the day, it protects the hotel's revenue, and just as importantly, its reputation. Because when you truly master ledger reconciliation, you're not just an auditor or a front desk agent anymore. You become a dependable guardian of the hotel's financial integrity. And that, right there, is a cornerstone of any successful career in this amazing industry.